Hi, welcome to Friday's Folk Tales and Fairy Tales with Miss Elizabeth. Today's story, we're going to be reading The Tortoise and the Hare. This will be our last one for summer reading. I hope you've had a good time this summer. We had lots of fun books that we read together and a lot of fun activities. And hopefully you've come into the library and got your summer reading prizes. And we had a good time. So let's read The Tortoise and the Hare. This adaptation is by Janet Stevens. The Tortoise and the Hare. Once upon a time, there was a tortoise and a hare. Tortoise was friendly and quiet. He did everything slowly. Hare was flashy and rude, and he did everything quickly. Hare liked to tease Tortoise about being slow. And when Tortoise ate breakfast, Hare said, "By the time you finish your last bite, it will be dinner time." When Tortoise worked in his garden, Hare said, "By the time you pick the spring flowers, it's going to be winter." One afternoon, Hare followed Tortoise to the store. Hare teased him on the way. "By the time you get there, the store will be closed," he said. "You're just too slow. You're so slow, I could beat you at a race, hopping backwards on one paw." I'm actually being too kind. "But I could never beat you, Hare," said Tortoise. "Yes, you could," said Tortoise's friends. "All you need to do is have a little help." "Then you will race me," said Tortoise. "Well, you will race me," asked Hare. Tortoise pulled his head back into his shell. "I don't want to," he said. "You've got to," said his friends. "You've put up with that nasty Hare long enough. We think you can do this. We think you can win." Tortoise didn't want to disappoint his friends, so he finally agreed to race against Hare. Tortoise only had 2.5 weeks to get in shape before the big race. Rooster helped him out at the gym, and Raccoon cooked him healthy meals. Frog went jogging with him every morning, and by the day of the race, Tortoise was ready. Animals from all over the country came to watch Tortoise and the Hare. Rooster read aloud the rules and described the course. "Attention, everyone! The race will begin when I sound this gong. The 6-mile course is marked by a red flag. The first one to reach the finish line wins. Runners, take your mark. Get set, go!" Raccoon sounded the gong. And that's it. There it is. There it is. That's the gong. Hare bolted out of sight before Tortoise had taken his first step. The crowd roared and cheered as Tortoise inched forward. Hare was so far ahead that he decided he would stop at Bear's house for something cool to drink. Hare rested and sipped on lemonade, and Bear noticed something moving outside of the window. "Hare, there goes Tortoise." "What?" yelled Hare, running out the door. Hare passed Tortoise for the second time. Then he decided to stop at Mouse's house for a snack. As Hare munched on crackers and cheese, Mouse yelled, "Is that Tortoise I see outside the window?" I'm not worried about that slow poke, said Hare. I've already passed him twice. Then he finished his snack and he hopped out the door. Hare passed Tortoise for a third time. Now he was far ahead, and he saw a pond and he decided to stop and rest. The snacks had made him very sleepy. Hare was so sure that he would win that he took a nap in the soft grass. And as he closed his eyes, he dreamed of his victory. Suddenly, Hare woke up because the crowd was cheering. Yay, Tortoise, the crowd roared. Tortoise was 2 steps away from the finish line. Slow down, you bow-legged reptile, screamed the Hare, trying to catch up. But it was too late. Tortoise crossed the line just before the tornado of dust and fur that Hare flew by. Tortoise had won the race. Hare could not believe it. That messy shell on legs had beaten him. Tortoise versus Hare. Tortoise smiled at all his friends and they carried him up on the shoulders. He had learned an important lesson. Hard work and perseverance bring reward. Now, that little tale has a little lesson for us that the Hare was kind of lazy and laid around and was so sure of himself and proud, and Turtle wasn't, and he just kept going and kept going and kept going, and he won. So there's a lot of versions of this story. I'm going to read one more today. So this was one version, and here's another one. And the reason I'm reading it too is they have a little bit of differences in them. So there's a little bit of difference in the way this person told this story. Because remember, fables are told from generation to generation. So sometimes when they're told down the line in the story, they get changed a little bit. And so here's another one that I'm going to read, and you can decide for yourself which one you like best. This one's The Tortoise and the Hare. The moral or the lesson: a slow and steady pace sometimes is best. There once was a proud Hare who loved to show off. He bragged to anyone that would listen. I'm the fastest animal in the whole wide world, he said. I can outrun anyone. And you, he sneered at the tortoise standing by, you must be the slowest animal who ever lived. The tortoise stroked his chin and he thought for a minute. Well, why don't we have a race to see if you are right, he asked. Race against you, giggled the Hare. Why, that's ridiculous. That would be no race at all. And then he rolled around in the grass, laughing at the very thought of that. The tortoise slowly made his way to a nearby tree stump. Well, let's start the race from here, he said. We'll race all the way around the lake. The first one back to this stump will be the winner. Well, that's easy, laughed the Hare. I'll be back before you even started. The field mouse agreed to be the judge. The Hare and the tortoise lined up. The Hare was still laughing to himself as he got ready. The field mouse waved a twig and shouted, ready, get set, go. The Hare zipped right away. He bounded and he leaped along his long, strong legs. The tortoise plodded far behind. He made his way at a slow, steady pace. Half halfway around the lake, the hare was a little out of breath. He stopped for a minute. He looked around for the tortoise, who was nowhere to be seen. Oh, there's plenty of time for a short rest, thought the hare, and he lay down in the warm grass and was soon fast asleep. A few hours later, the tortoise reached the hare's napping spot. He smiled to himself when he saw that the hare was fast asleep. The tortoise did not stop to wake him. He kept moving along slowly and steadily. The hare slept all afternoon. By the time the hare woke up, it was evening. Oh no, he cried, I've overslept. And the hare ran as fast as he could around towards the finish line. Meanwhile, the tortoise was almost there at the stump. And just as he stepped on the finish line, he heard the hare thundering up behind him. But it was too late. The tortoise had won. All the waiting animals crowded around the tortoise. They laughed and they cheered for the winner. The hare couldn't believe he had lost. He was embarrassed and he was angry, and he quickly left the celebration. The field mouse congratulated the tortoise. Well done, he squeaked. A slow and steady pace is sometimes the best. So that is another version, a couple little different animals in that one, a little bit different happenings, but still it was a race between the turtle and the bunny, or the tortoise and the hare, and the tortoise won. And both the Indians are still the same. The tortoise won because he was slow and he was steady and he persevered and he kept going. So this is a really fun one to end our summer reading with. If you do come by and get the packet that we have for the tortoise and the hare, it looks like this, and it has everything inside of the activities that I'm going to show you today that you can do. If you do any of the activities and you'd like to share a picture, email me here at epointer@gcpl.lib.oh.us to show me any of the pictures of the things that you got to do. So here are some of the fun things we get to do today. We have another story in here of the tortoise and the hare with some little questions on the back. See if you can figure out the answers and maybe draw yourself your own little map of what the race might have looked like between the tortoise and the hare. There's also a little activity sheet in here, and see if you can remember what happened first, what happened second, third, or fourth. It's also a fun maze, because that race was probably kind of like a little maze running around to get to the finish line. Also, we have a compare what's the difference. Can you spot the difference in the two pictures? Also, we have some cutouts of some different characters, like in the story. Like there's a squirrel in this one, and a mouse. Come over here, mouse. And here's the hare. And this one's here's the tortoise. And you can put them on some craft sticks, and then you can retell the story. Here's a little script. Maybe you can get a sibling or a cousin or a friend or somebody to help you out, and you guys can tell a story with all your little props that you have here. We also have fun recipe in here, and we have a recipe for a charcuterie board. And I don't know if you can see that. And that's kind of like a little board, which you can get either a tray from home like this, or some kind of tray like that, or a fancy cutting board, or a fancy plate to put it on. And I'm just going to show you some snacks that I like to put on mine. I like pickles. I like to put some pickles on mine. I like blueberries. Now, the reason I was making this board is a turtle and a rabbit are grazers. And so they just like to pick up things and eat along as they go. So you can make your own little board like that. I also like snap peas, which I got these out of my garden. So I got some here. I like those to munch on. Those are delicious. They taste like little candy. I also like peaches. You can slice up some peaches to put on your board. I like boiled eggs. Got one right here. Those are yummy, some good protein. Another thing you can put on some either like some salami or some ham if you like dried meat like that, or we have cheese you could put on, maybe some crackers, all kinds of foods that maybe that you like to snack on and make your own little grazing board to do. And like I said, here's an example, and it has some recipes in here that you can do. You could do cucumbers, apple slices, whatever that you like to snack on. You can make your own fun board. Maybe you could do it for like a weekend party or something. That would be fun. Also, for your craft in the bag, it's also a craft / game. I have some little, here's my little bunny, and then here is a turtle or a tortoise. So the hare and the tortoise. You'll be able to make some of these too with the crafts I have here. So what we're going to do is once you make your pom-pom, I have directions for it in your packet, but once you make your pom-poms, you're going to take some tape and put it down maybe on the carpet, on a floor, or out on the sidewalk, somewhere that has a smooth surface, or you could do it on a table if you ask your parents if you can put some tape down. And then I have a straw in there, and you're going to line up your hare and your tortoise. Let me put it down, maybe you can see a little bit down here. And then you're going to take the straws and you're going to have races with whomever that you want to race with, and see who you can go across the finish line first and see who's the winner for that. So I hope you have fun making your little characters and then playing your game and having fun with all of the fairy tales and folk tales that we read this summer. We have so many here in the library, so don't forget to come in and check them out. And if you have any help, just ask one of us. We love it. So I just want to say happy summer, and I'm glad that you joined me this summer and we had a good time. Have fun reading.